Hey guys, it is Dani and I'm here with updates on the tropics. So we have Hurricane IOTA to talk about, as well as that area of disturbed weather. Will that develop into our next named storm and acquire the name KAPPA and be a threat to portions of Central America? Well, that is what this video will be about, and we'll also look at a season comparison or review, and we'll also look at 2005 season. So guys, before I go into details, please do subscribe if you haven't and tap the bell so you know every time when I post a new video, because I will keep you guys updated on tropical cyclone activity right through the season. And you can also follow me on Instagram. My weather account is othergirl Dani and my personal account is Dani Henry Official, and you can also join my Discord server. The link is in the description of this video. Okay guys, so first we're going to be looking at Hurricane. And so at this time, it is still a hurricane. It has rapidly weakened since it made landfall last night. Remember, it made landfall with sustained winds of over 155 miles per hour. That's a very deadly Cat 4 monster. And so now it has been rapidly weakened because, of course, it is overland, so nothing is fueling it, but it is still bringing those devastating impacts to portions of Central America. Honduras and Nicaragua are definitely feeling the impacts from that heavy rainfall, also the gusty winds and that devastating storm surge. And it's really the water that is the main issue when it comes on to landfall in tropical cyclones. And so guys, now to the National Hurricane Center's cone forecast, and at this time it has sustained winds of 85 miles per hour and it is moving westward at 9 miles per hour. And we see that the extent of the tropical storm force wind, which is that field around the center of it that's highlighted in yellow, it is extensive. So Honduras and Nicaragua will be experiencing tropical storm-like conditions as the system makes its way westward, headed to the Eastern Pacific. And so, as I said, the water is the most dangerous part of any landfall in tropical cyclones. So even though this may not be as strong, you should still not underestimate its potential, because it's still going to be causing those continuous heavy rainfall, which is likely to result in some flooding in areas that are prone. And so guys, if you are there, please take necessary precautions and stay safe. So far there have been 3 deaths as a result of this storm, and so hopefully the death toll does not rise. But in the event of any natural disaster, it's best to always take necessary precautions. And here is something interesting. Our models here are showing that it is of course going to be weakening, but we have quite a few, most of them agreeing that this might re-strengthen to a tropical storm, and that is going to be when it emerges into the Eastern Pacific. And that is certainly possible, but fortunately, even if it does re-strengthen to a tropical storm, it is going to be in the open Pacific. It's not going to be a threat to land, guys. And so here is something very important that you guys should know if you don't already. It is just what to do during a flood. So the first point is to get to higher ground. Get out of the areas subject to flooding, that is flood prone areas. So areas that are along the coastline or low-lying areas. If you're in those spots, you really want to get to somewhere that is more elevated. And the second point is do not drive into water, because of course it only takes 6 inches of water to knock you off your feet. And of course, to stay informed, so you monitor local radar, television, weather radio, or anything else that is to keep you informed on what is taking place, guys. And so in terms of the ocean temperatures across the Caribbean, still very, very favorable at this time to support tropical development, but I believe the wind shear is getting a bit unfavorable. So that is really going to be an inhibiting factor for the other Caribbean disturbance that we are about to talk about shortly. And so guys, even though most of the North Atlantic might be facing a cool down at this time, the Caribbean is still very favorable in terms of ocean temperatures to support any tropical systems that are trying to develop. And so guys, now we actually want to go on to that new tropical disturbance. Is that going to develop into something that is pretty significant? Well, let's go to that right now. And so guys, as you were seeing, the chance is at a medium 40% for this to develop into a tropical cyclone. And maybe by this weekend or maybe early next week, this could become a tropical depression, although development is not guaranteed. Again, that unfavorable wind shear is starting to set in, so that is a huge inhibiting factor when it comes on to this system going to be trying to develop or intensify, guys. And so it is likely that this might cause heavy rainfall, periods of very heavy rainfall across portions of Colombia, even Panama and Costa Rica. So if you're in any of those areas, you might experience some very inclement weather conditions going into the end of this week from this. And again, if it develops, it will acquire the name KAPPA. And so now let us go on to something interesting on what our different models are expecting. So we'll just be looking at two in this video, the Euro and the GFS. So this is by Tuesday the 24th of November, and so there we have something interesting, looking like maybe we're having some subtropical development off the east coast of the US, and in the Caribbean we're not seeing any hints or anything significant trying to develop. So that's some good news right there. And looking at the GFS model, it is showing that low pressure area much closer to the southeastern coast of the US, just off Georgia and the Carolinas right there. So are we going to have some development off the east coast of the US? We definitely have to wait and see, guys. But fortunately, if this develops off the east coast of the US, most likely any impacts that will be there will be very minor. And so guys, now let us take a look at what this hurricane season has been thus far. We've had a lot of activity. This is the most active hurricane season in recorded history for the North Atlantic basin, and so a lot of them have made landfall. I believe about 12 had made landfall in the US, and we've had quite a few that were just lingering out in the Atlantic. And so guys, let us look at the comparison in terms of the numbers here. So we know that this is the most active season, but let's compare it to 2005. So for this Atlantic season, we have had 31 tropical depressions, 30 named storms, 13 hurricanes, and 6 major hurricanes. So a very, very active hurricane season, the most active on record. And to say that we've beaten 2005, which is the record holder for a lot of our historic storms, is just crazy. But again, this is just, we've beaten the season by just the named storms, because the season has produced a bit more activity in terms of their intensities, even though we have more storms than they did. So 2005 produced 31 tropical depressions, 28 named storms, 15 hurricanes, and 7 major hurricanes. So we have 2 more hurricanes in 2005 and 1 more major hurricane also. And there were a lot of Cat 5s. I believe there were 4 Category 5 hurricanes in 2005. And this season we've had our first being IOTA, which is currently active. And so guys, it has been such a very hectic period, you'd say, and the season is not over yet. So it is possible for us to see more tropical development, maybe a few more storms before the season or the year ends. And so guys, that is really it for this video. And so if you found this video to be pretty informative, please give a thumbs up, and you can also share thoughts with me in the comments or ask questions. I'll try to respond as best and as soon as I can. And just remember to always be weather wise, and I'll keep giving updates.